Just going.
Yeah.
That was tiring. Now I have.
Let's all woosah.
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 Let's breathe.
A collective
Come on.
breath.
Yes. The oneness in the room today.
Yes. Let's bring our energy within
Come on.
so that we can share it
This
with
is when I
out.
wish I
Not
was
say.
not blind right now.
Share it with our people.
You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, your man Cat Fitness, and our guest host today, Brother Darren from Financial State of Mind, y'all.
Yes.
We got a real special guest, like always. This week, like always,
Like
we always have
always.
somebody special in
Yeah,
the
we do.
studios for y'all. We have Brother Euro in the building, y'all.
Hero.
Come on. Brother Euro, we first met, what was it? It had to be at the Heal the Hood event that we had.
Yes.
Yeah. Brother Euro was out there with CRC doing their thing in the community. And the funny thing about it is I didn't even know you was an artist at that time. Like, we connected, we talked a little bit, but we didn't really like break bread and chop game that day. But through mutual friends, we got to connect, and now we're here in the studio.
Not say.
And I think we got a lot of gifts to give our viewers today, y'all.
Yeah.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about who you are and what you do in the community?
Yeah. First off, peace to the gods. My name is Yeto Masamba. I'm known as Yero in these streets. You can also follow me, Yero from the Nickel. But really, I just live my life. I be true to myself, and I try to be the change I want to see in my community. I have a nonprofit called Kids in Charge. I work.
What inspired that nonprofit?
And what is it? What is the nonprofit about?
Well, yeah. So I started doing music professionally at the age of 7. I dropped my first album at 7 years old.
Wow.
And so being a youth musician, a child musician, living in East Oakland, there wasn't a lot of outlets for the youth to go to and be musically active.
Mhm.
And so with the help of my father, I was raised by a Black man out here in East Oakland. And he helped me, put this nonprofit together. And the nonprofit Kids in Charge, we pretty much give back to the youth that's at risk,
Mhm.
and got them through music, music production, writing,
Mhm.
marketing, stage performance,
Wow.
delivery, and even going to videography.
Wow.
And we get down to some health too. Cooking your own meals, going out into the nature and foraging.
Now, how about what's the age range of the kids that you serve?
Yeah, so right now, our age range goes from 13 to 25.
Okay.
Yeah, 25 is pretty much our cutoff right now.
Okay.
But outside of that, I'm hands-on with Community Ready Core, CRC. We're really out here in these streets doing that real work.
Man, y'all came through the Heal the Hood event, man. Y'all was looking real militant. Y'all was coming out there looking like the Panthers. Old school. Y'all was shutting down the streets. Y'all was like, okay, check this out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna put food in here. We're gonna hand it out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember as a kid, I always wanted to be born back in the day when the Panthers was out there. I was seeing all that Black unity. And
I was around back then.
See, I say, and I'm 27 years old right now, and it's just it's a blessing to have an organization right now in this present day with everything that's going on in our community that really stands on being unified and taking care of the community.
Right.
We all we got, real talk.
Right. So what can you tell the people who don't know anything about CRC? What does that stand for? I know Kat just said that, but what does that stand for, and what is it all about? What do y'all do?
Yeah. I have right here, so I'm not, butchering anything.
Yes.
One thing, I'm not a a scholar, but one thing I am is sincere, and that's something I picked up from Malcolm X. But CRC is a liberation organization that actively builds and supports self-determination in 9 areas. And these 9 areas is self-defense and safety, economics, prosperity, family systems, stability, traditions and ways, technology, education and competence, art and media, politics and governance, and health and well-being.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So CRC, we're really putting in some real work out there, being the change we want to see. And outside of that, I'm working hands-on with my cousin Jamila Rose, and we're actually fighting food apartheid in deep East Oakland. And
right.
Deep East Oakland is known as a food desert.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it
You know what I'm
is.
saying?
Food
Yes.
desert.
Like they
We
got
talk
more
about
corner
that a lot.
stores and liquor
Yes.
stores than anything,
Mhm.
versus actually having places where you can get natural organic food.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
facts, yeah.
And y'all did y'all thing, because we reached out and said, like, our goal at Heal the Hood is to make sure that we're able to provide resources to community and highlight organizations like yourself, like CRC, that provide these resources on a regular basis, right? So we were like, man, we'd love to feed the community. What organizations are out here?
Yeah.
And Bria from MF and Vegan was like, man, y'all gotta hit up CRC. Like they providing, produce and everything. I was like, for real? Okay, let's link up and see, if it makes sense. And the dope thing was, like I said, y'all came out there and y'all was providing like real quality produce to the community.
Oh yeah. The produce is organic, it's fresh, and it's from local farmers. It's and they're black and brown, and that's really what we want to push is, the mindset of changing the way you view yourself and you respect yourself. And once we start loving ourselves, we start knowing that what we put into our body means a lot. And even going a step further, once we really start loving ourselves, we can love our neighbors. We can love our friends, our neighbor out there, and we can actually, live in our purpose. Because a lot of the things around here in our society stops us from living in our purpose, and definitely the food that we eat too stop us
for sure. It's interesting that we're having this conversation, because I was having a conversation with my cousin, longtime listener, Cayenne, and we were just talking about the whole idea of, she's on a fitness journey and stuff like that, and making some major changes in her life. And we were talking about some people that we know who are watching her journey, but thinking that they can't do that. And we've talked about this so many times on this show about like food habits in our community being almost like addiction, or being a food addiction, right? Of like, because and also the feeling of powerlessness when it comes to food. And it's exactly the opposite. You can get a giant pot and put it in your small apartment and put some seeds in it and start growing some stuff. Here in the Bay Area, we have good growing weather, right? We have good, because I grow a lot of my own food, and it's right there in Richmond, just in the front yard.
Yeah,
right.
Her whole,
Yes.
if you go to Kenya's house, her whole front yard is a garden.
Yeah.
Not a garden, but like resources. She got the herbs out there. She got the fruits. She got a little bit of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're lucky because we do have that kind of weather. But when I was in this conversation with my cousin today, we were talking about the like, oh well, I wouldn't be able to give up my fried foods, or I eat fried foods, a lot, or I wouldn't be able to do this, I wouldn't be able to do that.
I hear that a lot.
It's a certain addiction to a lot of things that they put into these foods nowadays.
Facts, yeah.
Like the salts, the preservatives, all these things that we fail to realize they have addictive properties.
I think it's more than a physical addiction.
You think so?
It's mental.
100%.
100%.
I hear what you're saying, because I definitely think there's an aspect to that. But I do believe that there is
it's a social aspect too.
Sure. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because we do like to get together and break bread and break other things, wings and everything else. Hot wings. Okay, but I think that there is a deeper systemic issue in our Black and brown communities that goes too far back for us to remember, of powerlessness about what we have access to and what we can eat, because we're given scraps like in the old days in the slave quarters and stuff like that. So that has followed us all this way. And so we're like, so a lot of us who are, experiencing health issues, experiencing, being overweight and having that not be in your power, because a lot of people love their bodies the way they are, and that's a beautiful thing. But when you feel like it's not within your power because what you're eating is not in your power, because this is just what you know and this is what you grew up with, and it's not, and you can't control it, that's where I think that the issue lies.
So, I was about to say, is it really, and this is kind of a question to everybody, is it so much that we feel like it's not in our power because we don't have access to it, or does it feel like we don't have the power because it's not taught to us? I think that's the difference.
It's not the normality.
Both.
Because I feel like I think it's honestly at this point, it's a lot. It's becoming more social and culture. It's in Black and brown culture.
It has been
forever because of our history of our history.
Sure.
It's we are Black and browns cultures, many Latino, Black, Indian, Asians, even. It's we were the poor ones, so we, like you said, we got the scraps of food, and what we did is we just made the best out of it.
Sure.
But now that's in our culture, so
because we can make anything taste delicious.
Exactly.
And so where that goes too, that goes from going back to our food being attached to our emotions, with making us happy. Remember, they gave us scraps, but what made it good? Well, Granny put some love into it. That's that emotion.
And then Granny knew what herbs
and
I was herbs
exactly.
to put with this poisonous.
And I was gonna say that too, right?
Yeah. Amen.
And too, like naturally, I'll speak for myself. When I ate meat, I wasn't eating meat without it being seasoned.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so
nobody likes no boiled meat.
And so
they don't eat it for the flavor.
A lot of times we're chasing the flavor of the herbs, and not the meat.
Yes.
And then another way that the way that we eat keeps us so bind to it is we have to think about the parasites.
Oh yeah.
You have to think about those bodies that's living in you, that's telling you hungry and you
want more of it.
That so it could go ahead and spread or
thrive.
Thrive in you.
Well, I think that from the mental standpoint, again, like you said, there's that familial feeling and like getting together at Thanksgiving or Christmas or the holidays or whatever your holidays are, and feeling like that's love. Food is love, and we make that connection, and then it's hard to change, even if that it's bad for you, or that you're experiencing some problems or gut issues or high blood pressure or diabetes or something like that.
And what would that be really? That's like no self-love if you're putting other things above you.
Is it though? Is it no self-love? Because I don't know. I think that it comes to a feeling of powerlessness. And maybe that's connected to no self-love.
To
right.
me, that's connected to it because for me, I feel like we should never give anything outside of self the power.
Exactly.
Any power. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
And that goes to, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I shouldn't allow them to have the power to upset me,
Right.
to make me
Sure.
feel some type of way.
Right.
I already lost that battle, and that's how
Mhm.
we get distracted from our purpose, you know, and letting outside entities determine how the balance of self is, you know. Um, and you know, it's a struggle.
It is, and
It's a daily fight, you
I
know.
think
It's a daily
So
fight.
what
yeah.
when we got into the studio, I made a comment earlier before we even got on air about breaking your fast, and you were like, "Man, I'm still on my fast. I haven't broke anything." I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Man, that's what's up." Because like some of us, first thing in the morning time, we're already consuming, food and
Coffee,
everything.
Lord, coffee.
All
Okay,
these
coffee.
things, all these stimulants to the
I love
body.
my coffee.
Yep.
Without allowing the other stuff from the day before to process and be removed from the body, right?
Mhm.
So, how long have you been practicing that, like the fasting aspect of what you do?
Yeah. To be honest, I think this is something that I've picked up from a child.
Okay.
Really, I was overweight.
Yeah.
As
You
a
and me both.
kid, and you know, I was always getting called these names.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
kids don't have no
yeah,
filters.
we
They
had
gonna
no
call
filters.
you.
No.
Yeah, you
And
the
I
Pillsbury
remember
Doughboy, everything.
And I remember I was like, you know, I transferred from going to school in East Oakland at Frick, and I went to a school in San Leandro called John Muir, and at John Muir, it was a whole different paradigm.
Yeah.
They had a fruit salad bar, you
Wow.
know,
At the school.
at the
Wow.
school.
Oh, man.
You
Okay.
know,
My
and
goodness.
coming from Frick, and you know, in East Oakland, man, we had a snack bar where you could put nacho cheese
Oh,
on
yeah.
your hot chips.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I be telling
Wow.
people like when I got into high school and even middle school, right? Like you be able to get like you said, like the Doritos and be able to put nacho cheese, and we was getting McDonald's shipped
Come
in
on
into
now.
our high school. We was
What?
getting round table pizza in our
Come
high
on
school.
now, yeah.
Oh my God.
They was
Yeah.
killing us.
Yeah.
Man,
Wow.
They was killing us.
they was
Yeah.
giving
They knew
us
what they
every-
was doing.
Yeah.
They didn't want us to learn.
I
You
will.
know what I'm saying?
I will say that if you go to schools nowadays, as a whole, especially in California, there are starting to be healthier options.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It wasn't like how all of us back in the day, just regardless of school, it doesn't matter if you East Oakland, it doesn't matter if you're regular Palo Alto. They were unhealthy. It was mostly unhealthy because of.
But here's the thing too. They playing us though too. So you gotta watch out with this. Oh, it's healthy, it's organic. Because we could look at they're implementing some healthy alternatives into the schools, but they're really not the healthiest, or they're not really even healthy at it. You just have a label on it and saying, "Oh, this was organic," but it's sprayed with wax. It's sprayed with all these
Right.
pesticides.
Exactly.
You know,
But
it's
also-
GMO.
Also,
Yeah.
there's so many lies
Soy.
out there. Right. There's so many lies out there about healthy. So
Healthy,
like
right.
even on like, a friend of mine, this is a few years ago, was about to make pour her son some cereal, and we were talking on the phone, and I was like, this was probably like 10 years ago, and I said, and she's like, oh, we're trying to be healthier, blah blah blah, and I don't want to talk about this type of thing with people unless they're interested in having the conversation.
Right.
But I'm like, girl, you opened the door. Okay, you open the door, and I'm sitting right here about to walk through it, and it was healthy choice, right? And she was like, well, it says healthy on the box. And I said, well, let's read those ingredients.
Yeah.
And it was
Get to
8
the
million things that she couldn't pronounce.
Man, they got paint thinner.
FD and C number red, number 5, whatever, all these
come on.
things. And I said, so the purpose is for us to truly try to understand. And I realize we all come from this American culture and the SAD diet, the standard American diet. So it takes a lot of unlearning and relearning. It really does. And then it takes a lot of another step saying, okay, well, I do have the power. I do not have to pour this cereal into this bowl and feed it to my child. I can do something else, and
that's more hands-on though. And
Yes,
that's the thing too, with a lot of with our parenting nowadays. There's a culture.
Disconnect.
it's a disconnect, but a culture of laziness.
Mm.
You know, I remember growing up, and my grandmother or my dad would be up cooking breakfast for us.
That's how my pops got.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they'd be actually cooking.
Yes.
But now everything microwave fast. They want to pop it in,
Right.
get on the road and become a slave, a better slave. You
But
know?
to be fair, though, we have to compare that time to this time. To be frank, because my parents are the same way. My parents, if they were alive, they'd be in their late 60s. They were the same way. But the difference is my mom and dad have to work one job and they can buy a house. One job apiece, they can buy a house. You can't do that nowadays. So unfortunately, because we
especially
have
here in the Bay Area.
specifically in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So because of that, parents got to work two jobs just to be able to pay the same bills that our parents could do on one income.
But also let me piggyback on what Darren is saying, and what you were saying about, just like laziness and the ability to be able to live and pay bills and stuff like that on the income that we make and the price that we have to pay to live in this area. I had my child almost 14 years ago. And I remember prior to that, so I've got 9 godchildren, right? And I've been godparenting since I was 12 years old. And I used to say, I would never let my child eat A, B, and C. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make everything by hand. And I'm going to blend up all the organic this, that, and the other. And I'm going to breastfeed till my boobs fall off. And I'm a blah, 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 blah. Okay. Fast forward to when I actually had a child. Because I used to be very judgmental about people who, I started off doing that. I was mashing the bananas and I was blending everything and it was only organic and blah, 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 blah. And I got tired as hell. I'm going to be honest. It is very, very exhausting. And then when I went back to work and I was very privileged in that I got 6 months of maternity leave. So that's very unusual. I know somebody that got 2 weeks of maternity leave. A single woman that got 2 weeks of maternity leave.
And this is not to cut you off, sister.
No.
Like you talking just kind of put some fire in me.
Good.
It's just like
good.
This is a reason why we do need to be protecting our Black women. One, like our Black women is the centerpiece for the Black civilization.
Say it.
The Black Empire.
Yes.
If we're going to have any unity around here, we have to uplift the Black woman. We have to protect the Black woman. And outside of that, we have to make sure that we are creating these systems that she can actually do what she's here to do.
You
know what I'm saying? So if she's here, she just gave birth. We know that the mother is the first teacher, the first nurturer, the first everything for this child.
Exactly.
And we're trying to rush and speed up this process so she could get back to working for the slave master.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? These are things where
and other countries don't do
if
that.
You ain't getting mad from hearing this.
Other countries you can be on maternity, like in lots of, I think Sweden and Germany, all these other places, you can be on maternity leave for long enough to even have another baby and then get maternity leave again. And it's, paid maternity leave, paid child care, paid daycare.
You got to think about it like this. Just like Brother Euro was saying, it's one of those things is if my first interaction in this world is with my mother, right? And I'm supposed to be receiving a certain amount of love, right? And that love is taken away from me immediately. What programming does that start? Like my mom doesn't even want to take the time to spend with me.
Speak on it.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it releases certain chemicals, whether we admit to it or not, that starts this disconnect.
Survival.
Exactly.
You out there hungry. You trying to. I got to step on anybody because my mama didn't love me.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that as a mom, as the only mom in this room, I do believe that it's if you are in a position, and like I said, I was in a position to be home totally for 6 months and spend the time bonding with my child, and I was feeding my child the way I wanted to feed my child, and making all the food and breastfeeding and all these things. But then again, it's a matter of privilege and finances.
Yep.
Where when it was time for me to go back to work, I
What
asked
was
my
that? What was that? You
husband.
said privilege
and
and
finances.
finances.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Because
Message.
because what
Yep.
happened was I told my husband, I do not have it in me to put our child in daycare. Will you, since I make the most money, will you quit your job and stay home with our child? And that's exactly what he did. He quit. And like when he ain't black, honey. He is whiter than snow.
Oh, and
But
that's
he-
another thing. There you go.
he's whiter than snow.
That's somebody that gets it.
Right. Well, yeah.
Because he was raised to get it.
And his mom was a stay-at-home mom, right? And so he was totally fine with that. He didn't care. And so I went back to work. And even that first week, I was like crying at my desk and stuff. And he would bring the baby just so I could feed the baby, just so I could breastfeed my child. He would bring the child to my job, And so that is a privilege that a lot of people do not have. And then also to have one parent stay home, and he stayed home till my child went to school, to kindergarten, and then he went back to work. And so I just think that there are so many factors that we, again, like you were saying about protecting the Black woman and protecting all women in being able to do, if they choose to parent, if they choose to have children, how to do that in a way where you are feeling like you're doing your purpose,
Yeah,
right?
but you got to ask this question as well.
Yeah.
You're asking people to do something that they've never seen done before, right?
Sure.
If my parent wasn't there taking care of me, doing all the process, I think that's normal. That becomes the normality of the community.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a baby. I spend a little bit of time with it, then I put it into daycare.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have to get back to work because that's what my mom had to do, or that's what I saw.
And that's not the financial freedom that we need as a people.
And daycare is different now too. You have these big old daycare things. Like I went to my babysitter Armstrong for a really, really long time when I was a kid. But she was like a neighborhood daycare. My mother said she cost something like $30 a month or something like that.
Man.
Now it's like $30 an hour.
Right.
And so we was talking about how can we even, from this, how can we make a change, right?
Yeah.
And
community healing.
And in a way is, cooperative.
Yes.
Unity.
Yes.
Cooperative collectiveness.
Yes.
Cooperative courage.
That's right.
And so
that's right.
if there's a problem in our community and we all know that we need to do something about it, we all could come together and
play our part.
this.
Yeah.
Build this. Okay, so we could do a co-op nanny, co-op
facility.
Facility,
That's right.
and where we all working together. The moms are together as partners.
Yep.
And that's how you actually raise
and grandmothers.
a child.
Exactly.
You have a village.
Yes,
that's
that right.
empire. But we're getting away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we've been getting away from that
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
But we really getting away from it because, like I said, I'm 27, and at 27 I was born in '96. You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing this in my family, and so we not too far away from still having some memory of it. But right now, with the youth that's coming up in the 2009 babies, 2004
That's when
babies,
my child was born. 2009.
like these the babies that really need some love, and some compassion.
And not having all the electronics raising.
Oh my!
That's a whole nother subject.
That's a whole
It sure
nother topic.
is.
Yeah, because I got me that EMF protecting device on the back of my phone, trying to get that radiation away, and that's another thing that throwing us off.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to your question though, when did I start the fasting? Really is I went vegan at 19.
What made you? I mean, You grew up in East Oakland, right?
Yeah. 55th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody from the town, like I even know when I started 7 years ago, right? That was nothing that I heard of. That was nothing that was familiar terminology to me.
Man.
Like when I was at the barbershop and I was already training clients, one of the barbers, I always tell this story, asked me, it was like, hey, you know, I'm trying this new thing. I'm not going to be eating no meat, no dairy, but I still want to be in the weight room building muscle. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, the initial thing was, oh, you going vegetarian. I heard of vegetarian before,
Sure.
but I never heard of vegan,
Right.
right?
Man, yeah.
So I was like, I really don't know. I don't know what to tell him. So I had to try it out for myself before I could give out any kind of good, any kind of good advice, or, you know, tell them from a real place versus just be like, oh, I saw this on Google and this is what Google told me type thing. So how from your perspective, growing up in East Oakland, like that's not the normal thing. Like, how did you even, you know, expose yourself to something like that, to like cutting out the meat, the dairy, the inflammation?
I'm gonna be honest, you know, as a kid, I always been conscious. I always knew where I needed to be. I'm exactly who I am. The person I am right now is who I envisioned I was going to be at 7 years old.
Wow.
But at 19 years old, I had graduated from Richmond High at 18. I got kicked out of all Oakland schools and had to get up there. And so I was up there. And I got beat up by a police officer at the school cop.
Wow.
And he beat me up for wearing a beanie on school grounds.
Wow.
And so I got 3 bulged discs sitting on my SI nerve in my back. And so I constantly having shooting pain, you know, and my pain off the Richter, you know. And so I got into being an EMT, went to EMT school, found out that wasn't for me. You know, the health industry it's an industry. It's supposed to keep us sick. And so I started doing some construction. My pops worked for PG&E. And so he'd been always trying to get me to go to PG&E. PG&E in my family is like working for the post office.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It's a good government
it's
job.
a good job. You know what
job.
I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I ended up going to this learning program called Cypress Mandela. I don't know if y'all heard about Cypress Mandela. It's an Oakland trade school. So instead of going to college, I like to tell my youth to go into it. Pick up a trade. If you go ahead and pick up a trade, you'll never be broke. And you can build you a house, you can build whatever, and you can be self-sustainable.
But Brother Year, I hate to cut you off. We had our music break real quick.
All right.
But this is actually
keep that in mind.
Yeah,
I
we're
want to hear
gonna
the
stay
rest
right
of that.
there.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about this song that you brought in for us today?
Yeah. 40 Acres is one of my new songs. My boy Pyro produced the beat. And this song is pretty much I wrote it during COVID. This girl, she stopped wanting to date me because I wasn't vaccinated. And so this song is about a girl texting me saying that she can't be with me because I'm not vaccinated. And I walk outside and I see a full line of people getting ready to get vaccinated, because at the stand where they're giving out vaccines, it says get vaccinated and get a 40 acres in a meal.
What?
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to our quick music break. You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show, and we'll be right back. Boom. Ooh. Come on. Going in.
Yeah, it's lit.
Yeah. Hold on. We got a couple. Well, I can hear that track. Let's see. Let me see if I cut off.
Try to drive the boat, but the captain is go, baby. Turn around, let me poke you with this try. Like my women melanated, but I could have a mind. Y'all can't be for Columbus. We know the schools we love. Plantation still exists. They just call it prison's pride, put our troops in the books, cause they know niggas won't bow. Protesting is for whites, but for us they call them right. They told me, nigga, keep that knowledge over there, they not buying. She got the vaccine 3 times, coughing like her ass dying. Ancestors upstairs looking down at a sign. You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh?
Got a video to this
You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? It's not a secret unless you keep it. We all know what white folks say in they meetings. They trying to control us through all our weakness. They know that we party throughout the weekend. We got our ways out, but we ain't leaving. We worry about likes, shares, and mentions. We worry about NFT crypto flipping. While our kids are coming up missing. We used to raise our youth through the village. We used to use raw as our witness. Through numerology, we made up quantum physics. From our biology, we been here for a minute.
Come on. Teach
We
them,
lost
brother.
our
Teach
mission. They
them.
kill us in our schools. They kill us in our kitchen. Look at the
Got
sugar
that
and the
damn
bleaching
flame,
machine.
you know
Look
what I'm
in
saying?
our skies.
Still gonna
Chemtrails
chase
in
the game.
heaven.
You know what I'm talking about?
40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres in a mule, huh? I know my women melanated, but I can have a mind. Y'all came before Columbus. We know the schools behind. Plantations still exist. They just call the prisons pride. Put our troops in the book, cause they know niggas won't bow. Protesting is for whites, but for us they call them right. They told me, nigga, keep that knowledge over there, they not buying. She got the vaccine 3 times, coughing like her ass dying. Ancestors upstairs looking down at a sign. You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh? You want that 40 acres and a mule, huh?
And you're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa. Kenya Asa.
Shout out to Quezzy.
Yeah, brother Quezzy. Kenya Asa, your brother Cat Fitness, and our guest host today, Darren from Financial State of Minds. We have brother Euro in the building, y'all.
Yay, bro.
Come on. Man, that song slap. I was telling him while we was on our music break, man, we got to get a visual for that one. That one, you got a hit right there, bro. Man, not saying that not the other ones ain't hits, but I think it's time for that one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, people ready for that song.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So can you continue about what you were talking about before we left?
Yeah. I was saying about, I think I was at Cypress Mandela.
Yes.
Cypress Mandela is a trade school. And I went into Cypress Mandela to just learn some game.
How old were you at the time?
I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
It's 18, about to be 19.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in Cypress Mandela, and I was working. You know, they had us building houses from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
putting the
Wow.
plumbing in it.
Wow.
You know, irrigation, tiles, cement. You know, rebar, everything that has
Giving
to
you
do,
some real skill set.
Yeah, that has to do
for
with
sure.
construction. I've learned.
Yep.
And one day, mind you, I'm going through a lot of back pain though.
Yeah.
From being slammed by this police officer. And so it's a lunch break, and I see this black man get out his truck, and it looks like he's about to do some work at our building. And I kind of cut this off. Cypress Mandela was first, when I went to the school, was in West Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
And then my class moved the school to East Oakland, right across the street from the village,
Mm-hmm.
and where AC Transit is. So when we moved over there, we actually was the school that rebuilt their facility.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our job. That was our hands-on training.
Wow.
And so there was a contractor that was there on my break, and this man looked like he was like 60, 66, you know, maybe in his 70s, but he was huge. He was a huge, dark-skinned black man, and he was picking up these you know, motor bags, cement bags, you know, 60 pounds, 80 pounds. I was like, man, this OG doing all this work. Nobody went to go help him. And I was like, yo, OG, you need some help? I start picking up bags, helping him. End up start working with him. Then he go back to class. My teachers came back, was like, oh, this is where you been, Yaro? And the guy said, yeah, you know what? He works for me now. And so I graduated early. And now I'm working with this black man, you know, contractor, doing cement, brick laying work.
Wow.
And so now we're doing, you know, months go by, and I'm working in Hayward. It's hot, and we're building a containment garden wall. And I'm out there building. I mean, I'm digging ditches, sweating. And I see this old man outworking me. And I'm like, how is this old man outworking me? I'm 18 years old. How is
I'm
this
in my prime.
Yeah, right. And then so he goes and puts us on a lunch break. So I go, hurry up, find me some McDonald's. I'm like, man, give me a Big Mac, large Coke, large fries. I'm eating in the shade. I looked over at the boss man. He's sitting in his truck. He got a big watermelon. Pull out his machete, slices the watermelon. He had a spoon, eating the watermelon. Then he had a big bag full of Brazil nuts. He had cashews, pistachios, and he had a gallon of water in a glass bottle. I'm like, this guy is on to something, right? And then he gets out his car and he back to work. Boom, boom, working hard. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. That McDonald's is in me.
McDonald's, where are you at?
I'm slowed, you know.
Where are you at?
And so I went up to the boss man. I said, oh, gee, man, how are you outworking me? And he looked at me and he said, you know what, son? It's because you treat your body like a cemetery. And you only put dead things in it.
Oh.
Gave me some real game.
And he said, go look up Dr. Sebi.
Right. Yeah.
Mind you,
I'm this was like 9 years ago.
Yeah. And it's about to be 8 years, 4th of July. So he puts me on this game. This is July 3rd. And I go back home. I sit down. I'm in my studio, and I look up Dr. Sebi. Now you look up Dr. Sebi, none of the videos that I watched is up there. They're all gone.
They have been taken down.
I had 8 hours of lectures that I watched of him nonstop, sitting there, you know, medicating myself with my herbs, and it just, everything that he was saying was hitting me in my soul. I felt everything he said.
It's just resonating.
It resonated. I passed out, woke up 4th of July, and said, I'm plant-based. I cooked my whole family 4th of July meat barbecue, and I ate a salad and never turned back.
Wow.
You
Just
know?
that quick.
Just like that. I just
What would you say is
when things hit you,
Yes,
you should go with it.
Yes.
Never second guess that.
What was the biggest thing that you noticed once you start going, like once you made that transition to your plant-based lifestyle?
Oh, the change?
Yeah. Would you notice personally?
Personally, my I'm not a gangster. I'm not one of these brothers out here that still is brainwashed from the Sicilian mindset. You know, this mafioso mindset. I want to say going vegan let me understand that I'm being used. This energy that we have, that we think that we thugs and we gangsters, is our natural militantness of being melanated beings. It's our natural warrior spirit. We're warriors. We're protectors. We protect our family, our village. And so right now with all the chemicals and how society got us living in our lower self, we don't understand who we really are. And so we try to find a model to live under. And that's that thug mentality, that gangster mentality. And so just one, eating clean made me control my emotions, made me clear my mind, made me understand that outside things can't and will not control how I move and operate. And really like the aggression and having patience really came from me changing my diet. Not chasing that if you eating some flesh, you're aggressive.
There's a certain amount of like testosterone, extra testosterone you're getting from
and
the flesh.
I'm not saying that being aggressive is bad. You know what I mean? There's some times you gotta stand on what you believe. Always stand on business. You know what I mean? But the point is, it's that excessiveness and how it's toxic to the self. You know, and that me not consuming that blood. You know what I mean? Consuming another spirit, a soul, really got me into my higher self. Just like that.
So what was the reaction to like your family, the community around you when you was like, nah, I ain't messing with the meat, the ribs, the chicken no more. I ain't doing that no more. That's not me. Like
you think you better? Are you white?
Man.
Are you you know? And it was a time where that it really hurted me. You know, because I really wanted people to join me on this experience, on this journey, on this change.
Because you know it was better in your life, so you wanted to see those around you the better they life.
Yeah. Well, and people will share all kinds of things. They'll share a recipe. They'll share their recipe for pot roast or whatever. And then that's okay. But if you bring something else, like if you share your lifestyle, a vegan lifestyle or something like that, then all of a sudden you're bad.
And that's where it gets to where I was getting back to the self-love.
Yeah.
Because at that moment of time, I didn't love myself. I was embarking this journey to heal myself, you know, to be vegan. But I still didn't understand being alone. Enjoying the company of myself, enjoying the company of my breath. You know what I mean? And wanting to have somebody to come with me was holding me back. These people wanted to fight me because I was like, nah, man, look, this is creating inflammation in your body. This is why you sick. Woo, woo. They like, nah, man. Woo. And all that is creating you, is putting in your mind like, well, maybe it's not worth me doing this. But you have to stay true to yourself. You have to find your purpose. You know what I mean? And you have to find one with being plant-based is really educating yourself. Educating yourself to the extent where you're disgusted with what you used to put into your sacred temple. Like I had the nerve, the audacity to treat myself like this. And wanted to ask somebody to treat me better and to love me when I wasn't doing those. One, you got to do your shadow work.
Right. Yeah.
You got to do your internal work. Just a change of your diet is not gonna, heal that emptiness.
Exactly.
You know?
People think that like, just switching over and taking some of these herbs and stuff like that is going to heal you, right? No, it's some internal work that you have to do because we have years, generations in our DNA.
Yes, generations, yes.
Come on, man.
Of people being harmed and doing harm to themselves that we have to work through.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah, and if you just tap in to that higher self, you don't really have to try.
No.
You just gotta be.
Exactly.
And also, but I also say this for people who are not on that page, right? Who are not doing plant-based, not interested in plant-based. I think it's good that one of the things I love about this show is getting people certain bits of information, and then they're hearing it, you know, if they're listening to it, they're hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe one day they'll decide to make some sort of changes,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe they may wait
But-
until they have a health condition.
But you know what's really dope? Like when I first started on my journey,
Yeah.
right? I was going through the health issues that I had, and then overcame that, and then it was some of that inner work that you were talking about, releasing some of that energy that I was feeling, anxiety and all that. And I'm like, dang, I'm just sitting there in constant prayer, like, why do I have like these anxiety attacks hitting me? Where's this energy coming from?
Mm-hmm.
And then when God shows me it's the food
Mm.
that's doing this to me,
Mm.
right? And I need to make a change there.
Mm.
And then that becomes a whole new journey. And it's a thing that nobody in my family, I didn't even like. I thought it was dope that you actually had somebody right there that you could look like your
Oh yeah, the OG.
the OG was right there
The OG
showing you a way.
Thank you, because I left this out. The OG came to my house. Past that, OG took me to Safeway
Mhm.
and taught me how to cook with a low budget,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you know, finance.
Like what to
Taught me
do.
how to do a Dr. Sebi clean alkaline meals from buying food
Sure.
that maybe at Safeway though. It's not even that.
Oh
It
yeah.
ain't the full meal in East
Yeah.
Oakland. It ain't Trader Joe's. It
Uh-huh.
ain't the Berkeley Bowl. This is Safeway. You can still
Yeah.
eat clean in Safeway. And
Yeah.
OG
What to look for and what
taught me
not
how
to
to
look for.
cook, whip it up, cut it up, you know, how to season it well, and he bought me a wok.
Mm.
And this is the thing that I really want to say. If you really want to make a change, be the change and get out there within your community and uplift a youth.
Yeah.
As simple as this. The man saved one black boy,
Come on.
and that one black boy is saving the whole community.
Mm.
So if you could just go out there and save another black boy,
Mhm.
just think about the work that black boy could do.
Think about like what Pac said. He said, it may not happen during my generation, it might not be me, but I'm going to motivate and educate somebody
Come on.
that's not even maybe born yet
Speak
to
on
be
it.
that change in the community.
Speak
And I
on
think a lot of times, like you live in now your truth, your higher truth, and then more people saying like, oh, I know cuz in the East that do that. I know Cat that do that too. He bodybuilding. He's like,
Right.
man, like now it's becoming more of a reality. It's more tangible. I can touch something. I can see somebody from my community doing it. So it becomes the new reality.
It's mind blowing, man. I'm getting calls from my peers,
Mm-hmm.
brothers that I'm 27. I'm getting calls from people that's 30 and maybe up, and they like, brother, the work that you do, the way that you being plant based and didn't care about how people viewed you, and you separated from you. They separated from you, and you still,
Yeah, you standing strong.
you know, shining.
Yeah,
You you was an inspiration. That right there hit me in my heart. You know what I mean? Because it's a fact that a lot of kids out here got to. They're not choosing. They got to play these roles in these games in the streets for survival.
yeah,
For survival. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And a lot of kids is so scared to be the one that's different, because when you're different, you get attacked. You're by yourself, and that right there is what keeps us as adults. That's happening in schools, right?
Yeah.
And so now we're adults, and we are afraid to be different, to stand for something that we believe in, that we know is right, and we miss our opportunities. And for me, I live my life with no MOs. No MOs is no missed opportunities. You know, I do not want to leave this realm, go back up, and the energy say, hey, you didn't actually complete what you're supposed to do. Let me send you back down for another round. And we have souls out here that actually went through that. And that's why we got old souls. Yeah. You could talk to a young kid, he's 12, and you're like, man, this brother,
grown ass man.
Like
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, man. We got to get you in for another episode, brother. We getting towards the end of the show, and I just want you just to let the people, the viewers out there, know where they can find your music, where they can find any upcoming events that you're having, and just to break bread and get some more game from
you. Yeah. Good thanks, man, for this opportunity. One. Once again, my name is Yero. Yero stands for Born Soldier. It's Congolese. I'll be doing a show tomorrow at Chabot College, 440 for the graduation. I just headlined the Malcolm X Festival last Saturday. I'm doing the San Mateo Music Festival coming up in June. In July, I will be out in Nevada City at a 2-day festival. I forgot to bring up, I have an Afro-Brazilian band called Namorados da Lua NDL band. So we're one of the hottest Afro-Brazilian bands here in the Bay Area. So we do a lot of, music shows. So yeah, you can follow me at Instagram at Yero from the Nickel 557. You can stream all my music at YERO Yero. And it's really a blessing to live in my purpose and to use platforms to reach those who don't have a voice and to let them know that there is other individuals out in the world that think like them, that move like them, and is being the change that they want to see. Stay godly.
Man, see, episode 2 coming soon, y'all.
Yes.
So much game. If y'all just tuning in, make sure you go back to the beginning of this episode because there were so many jewels dropped throughout this entire episode, and there's more to come, y'all. We appreciate you for sliding through today to the Anything Can Happen show, taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you said you was in the studio all last night.
I put down a record 3 this morning. I'm really about to go out to San Francisco after this and have a meeting with some co-ops.
Okay. Yeah. See, we didn't even get into that whole aspect.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the co-ops yet, but
that's episode 2.
Part two.
We're gonna talk about the co-ops. Okay.
Yes.
You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show. Thank you for tuning in once again. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Tune in every week on our IG live page at ach.show for more amazing guests. Join the conversation with us, and we'll see you next time, y'all. Peace.
Shay.
All my IG Live people, thank you so much for joining. And also, don't forget to come, if you can, if you're local, come to San Francisco Carnival this weekend. I will be dancing with Aquarela La Samba.
Aquarela, that's my band.
I will be dancing down the street, y'all.
Come on. Yeah, like this.
That's my family. Dance company.
So which link, Laura? So yes, come to SF Carnival and check out. I think the Instagram is Carnival SF. If you guys want to check out all those details. My group Aquarela La Samba will be dancing starting at 9
whatever
o'clock
comes to you, whatever
in the morning. So
when it comes to the drop.
Thank you guys. And see you soon. Oh, for the station. Okay, so go to, what's our Instagram here? Is it at